opening statement?
Obviously that team, plays a style of ball that, we like to play against. And, it's very rare that we play a team that we don't, we actually slow it down a little bit. And, we didn't want it as fast a pace as it ended up being. But we came out, we played with enthusiasm. I'm not sure we played smart, but we played extremely hard and with enthusiasm. And we had fun, and like I've said for the last 2 months, when we have fun and we're playing, we're pretty good. And I think we were really good today, really good.
Any questions for Coach Kampe? Sam?
Wright State, the Magic, I felt that, but Milwaukee, not so much. Today it's back. Do you know how or why?
It's a long season. It's a marathon. There are very few teams that don't. Michigan State lost to Nebraska at home. Would you have thought that the day they played at Michigan? You would have never. Kids they're 18 to 22 years old, and when you're inexperienced, and you can say we got a lot of transfers, and you can have an argument and debate, but Sharon Dorsey Walker played 200 minutes in his career. He's played 750 now. Martez, Percy Gibson, they've all played a lot of minutes now where they hadn't before they got hurt here. So while we might have been old in age, we were young in minutes played. And we're starting, to figure it out. There's going to be bumps. There just are. Even Greg Kampe teams always have bumps in the road because we're built on offense. And that's the honest-to-God truth. You're going to have nights like we had in Milwaukee where we were 4-20 from layups in the first half. And an experienced team, the Keith Benson era team, would have found a way to win that game. This team's got to find a way to win that game, and you got to lose a couple before you figure out how to win it. That's the maturation process. We don't want that because we want to win right now. But if you step back and look at it, Milwaukee played really good. If you looked at tape, we didn't play bad. We did not play bad. Milwaukee played really good, and we just couldn't get over the hump because we couldn't make shots. And so you go through the ebbs and flows of that, and if you're a Power 5 team, you don't have to worry about it because you're in. You heard what I said about the Division II days. That team, those seniors went to 3 NCAA tournaments, and they only won 1 league championship. I'll throw you some numbers that are going to surprise you. Since 2005, we've been to 5 conference tournament championship games where if you win, you go to the NCAA tournament. We won 3 of the 5. We lost 2 on last-second shots. Michigan's been to 1 and didn't win. Michigan State's been to 3, won 2 of them. We've been to 5. The difference is they get to go anyways. We don't. So your coaching's what you do, and what you want is you want a team to peak and be your best in March. That team that just got entered, those games in November and December meant the world back then because we were trying to be rated and qualify for the NCAA tournament. I can't do that at this level with this team. So there's going to be the ebbs and flows of the season, and as a coach, you try and build for March. And sometimes you're really successful at it, and sometimes you're not.
Greg, speaking of March, finishing second in your conference is like as good as finishing in first. It's
Right.
a little quirky. I don't know if everybody quite understands the way that works. Today's win, you never know what you're going to get with Green Bay or Milwaukee or the teams in your league. There's a lot of depth. Bad teams, supposedly in your league, have beaten you like Youngstown, Chicago last year, Northern Kentucky. Talk a little bit about this puts you in a really good spot for second, which is as good as first when it comes down to Joe Louis now.
Right. And now that we're on the cusp of it, I can talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it until now we're on the cusp of it. Here's the facts. If Valpo beats Wright State tonight, if we go to Wright State on Monday and win, all we have to do is win 1 more game. If we win 1 more game, we will be the number 2 seed. No matter what else, no matter what anybody else does. If we go to if Wright State loses to the Valpo tonight, and we go to Wright State and win, we just have to win 1 game. Doesn't matter who it is, we just have to win 1 game. So, because we'll have 2 wins over Wright State, we'll have a 2-game lead on them with 3 to go, and we'll have the tiebreaker. So, Monday night is of the utmost importance.
You got the season. This is your your tournament, you talk about that. It is everything for you. You talk about how much maybe you feel like the playing field's a lot leveler because in this particular circumstance, for Valpo, that was a huge advantage, or any team that won their league.
Yeah, I mean, for anybody, I mean, I wouldn't want to play here this year if we won it the way we played at home, but, you know, normally you want to be home. But, you know, all the power conferences have the neutral site. All the top conferences have the neutral site. And we went in the Horizon League because Butler had been to the national championship game, and we want to be a player nationally in basketball, and that's why we push for the Horizon League. And the Horizon League beats their chest and says that they want to be a national player. So if you're going to do that, you got to have a neutral site. And the league went to it. Detroit ponied up. They're paying the league money to have it. In 5 years, I think it's going to be a great tournament as it builds. But for everybody in the league now, you're on an even playing field, and you can build for March as a coach. That's what you want to do. I mean, everything we do is for that.
Kay Felder called Nick Daniels your guys' emotional leader. Just kind of how big has Daniels' leadership kind of been on the floor, and his play is also picked up as well?
Started the night we lost to Northern Kentucky in the locker room. I'm sure a lot of you read Terry Foster's article, and you know, we let Terry in the locker room, and we couldn't keep him from writing what he wanted to write, and he wrote some pretty interesting stuff, but he hit it right on the head. And I think that from that day, Nick has felt that he can be an emotional leader, and the team accepted him, and we needed that. We needed leadership at that point. We've won, 7 out of 8 since, and he's an important guy. Boy, he really had it. He brought it tonight. You know, this was a big game for us. I went over the scenarios with the team if we won tonight, what Monday's game would mean, and they came out and with great emotion. And Nick was, I mean, what, he got a couple steals, made a 3, jumping up and down, got the crowd into it. Yeah. That's just not Kay. Kay will never do that. It's just not who he is. You know, he may celebrate a shot with one of these and that, but he's not going to run around like Nick does and get fans in it, all that kind of stuff. And I think every team needs that. I don't know any great team that's ever been out there that didn't have someone like that. Anything else?
You talked about how maybe they're playing a little bit too fast in the second half, or maybe at times feels like they like to run with you. You guys like to pump it in and then push it back out. Is it easy? I think some of the guys maybe got caught up in that pure track meet at one point.
I think we did at times, but don't forget, I think the score was almost identical now at their place. Now, it was a different game there. They led at halftime and we pulled away. But I think it was 111-95 at their place. So, you know, it was almost identical. And at one point, I think it was 100-68. So the last 4 or 5 minutes weren't real pretty. But, you know, that their coach, and they kept playing and they kept pressing. And, you know, I had to rest some people. We play Monday night. So, got a little ugly, but that's all right.
You talked about on the radio, I remember when you played at Green Bay, that coach is like going to be your idol.
He is, man. I love it. I love that style of play. We need 4 more like that in the league. Everybody in the world would be talking about the league if the teams were averaging 100 a game.
Your theory about not getting the lead early proved
I hate that.
15-0 lead.
I hate that. And we ended up being behind. It happens. When you're evenly matched teams, now if you're playing someone you should blow out, then it's different. But when you're evenly matched teams, I hate getting had 10-0, 8-0. I just do.
About 15-0, it might be swinging in your favor tonight. They wouldn't catch it.
Maybe if it got to 20. It almost did. I think that we went down, and I think Jalen missed a layup, and they came down and made a 3 then. So.
Talk about that run that they got back. I think it was 28-26 to take the lead, and those last 3-4 minutes where they got about 12. Do those runs scare you? I know you won by quite a lot, but do those scare you?
No, when you play that style of basketball, there's going to be runs.
Okay.
There's going to be runs, and sometimes the runs come because you can't get subs in. You know, referees aren't calling anything because they're tired and can't catch up, and then your guys are tired, and you know, you break down and you can't. You know, there were 2 or 3 times tonight. Both teams had 4 guys sitting at the scorer's table waiting to get in because the tongues were on the ground. So they know the big. You know, the last 5 minutes of that game, I won't even watch that on tape. You know, that just was a byproduct of the game. I'd love to be up by 40 every game, not worry about the last 5 minutes.
With Felder getting all the national attention with his numbers, how do you think he's handled the situation overall?
Hasn't been easy. It hasn't been easy, especially, you know, all the, you know, I wonder what Kentucky goes through and Kansas and State when you got players like that and all the outside people that are trying to get involved. And, you know, I think they have things in place for that. And I learn something new almost every day about stuff that's going on behind the scenes, you know, with him trying to get him to come out and trying to get him to do this. And I think he's very grounded, but I think it can be overwhelming to him and his family, you know. And so we're there to support him and try and protect him. I think within the team, the Youngstown State game, we were in a restaurant eating when Sports Center came on. And they did that little 2-minute feature on him, and the players watching it, they were cheering and going crazy, and Sharon made the alley-oop pass, and you know, and Hooper made a so the team has handled it very well. I mean, we've never, you know, maybe the only thing close to this was the 4 days when we were Cinderella in 2005, and you know, that was it's still to this day the worst record of any team in the NCAA tournament. And so for a week we were Cinderella, and oh my God, publicity was unbelievable. What Kay has brought to this and what this team has brought on itself in the last 2 months since the Michigan State game was, we've never seen anything like. I mean, they talked about us on, what's the show today?
Game Day.
On Game Day, I guess Bette Billis or somebody said everybody knows who Kay Felder is, but I'll pay $50 to anybody can tell me what's the trivia about Max Hooper.
Well, speaking of that, if he has a breakaway shot and you guys got a big lead like today, and he's just going to the basket, you want him to pull up at the 3-point line?
It won't be what I want. He'll do it. You don't think he loves this? His name, he's gotten more publicity than he's ever going to get.
Watching warm-ups today, he can dunk.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like he can't dunk or.
Well, he's not. You know, one of the things we did work with him in the off season is, you know, the shot fake and one dribble. You can't get to the rim, so I don't want you one dribble over the line and shoot a 38%, you know, sideways dribble. So we worked on that. The only time that he better shoot it to is if it's going to win a game or something like that. Then I'd be mad at him. But I mean, it's his day in the sun. Let him do it. Nobody's ever done it, I guess. I mean, he's got 210 or 15 shots now. And he's called, what did he make today? 3? So he's got like 94, 95 threes. So he's going to make over 100 threes. There aren't many people that do that.